buddy. Do you see the squirrels? Where are they? You've just been absolutely fascinated with stuff that's out in the woods here. Squirrels come over here and they hang out at the trees, and he can see them through the window. And he's just fascinated. He spent more time outdoors on this trip than probably any other trip. Just wants to go play. Rain right now. We've really had good luck with rain. That is, if we wanted rain, we've had really good luck.
Yes. And right now we have rain and sun.
Yeah. Well, welcome to this episode. Today, kind of a short one. We are going to take a few moments to talk about some of the things that we've discovered on this trip that have made life just a little bit easier. So I'm going to take you through some of the things that we've ended up with, some new purchases, some that we bought before we got on the road, just to kind of make life a little bit easier as full-time RVers. And you are going to be talking about
Charlotte Small Thompson, which the name of our namesake of our trailer.
Of our rig, yes.
Our rig.
Yes, and we thought about this one quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then decided that we needed something that was really representative of Canadian history, as well as, this big adventure that we're on. So,
yes.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get at it. Well, in this segment, I thought I would take a few moments to talk about a few of our favorite things. These are things that either we have picked up on the road, things that kind of surprised us, things that we didn't realize we needed, and things that have just made life a lot easier. In one of the earlier videos, we talked about Bob, and this is the device that we ended up purchasing. It is a Python cable system that allows me to hook up the surge guard as well as the power cable directly to the pedestal, and it locks with a key. We have two keys. Libby keeps one, I keep one, and away we go. This one was kind of surprising to us. It is a hitch lock, pretty high-end one, and the whole purpose behind this is to lock the hitch when we are not around. I'm not sure how frequently trailers are getting stolen, but this is just an added peace of mind for when we are away from the campground. A flag, believe it or not, just something to put close to the hitch. In the first, few days, I was surprised at how many times I ran into that. A couple of wooden boxes. These crates are for our black water and fresh water. I'll go over those in a moment. Large tool kit, smaller tool kit, and a torque wrench. We have found that making sure that the tires on both the truck and the trailer are at the proper torque every single trip is pretty important. Our fresh water supplies all come in a kit inside that wooden crate. I keep that one on top so that it's very accessible, and all of the supplies that we need are just in the one wooden box. Pretty easy to get a hold of everything. Surprising, the little things that we didn't think we would need, like these little tiny hose extensions. That little 6-inch one, had no idea I was going to need one of those. This little guy, which is for fresh water, didn't know I was going to need one of those. Whole bunch of extra washers in there. This we knew we were going to need, so I was glad I got this water pressure regulator. We want to make sure that the water going into the rig stays pretty equal. Little splitter, I haven't used that a whole lot. I will show this in a moment. It is a gallon measurement, and this is one of the most recent things we picked up, a little L bracket, and I'll show you how those go onto the rig. Hooks in here, and our filter, and then our hose. So the water that's coming out of the campground into the rig goes through the filter. The little tiny device on there makes sure that it's got a little bit of flexibility. For our fresh water, didn't even know I was going to need these. I thought we could just put the hose directly in here, but it doesn't fit. So we need some kind of a device to put into the freshwater tank, and I put this little measurement on here so that as the water's going in, I can see how many gallons are actually going into the freshwater tank, and that has been extremely handy to have. We know how big the tank is, and so I can monitor how many gallons are going into the tank as we're filling it up to make sure that I've got the amount that we need. Surprising that I need these, but at my age, we actually have one for indoors and one for outdoors. It's just little kneeling pads. It's surprising how frequently those get used. Our black water supplies the gloves, and we also have a little container of disinfectant wipes. We want to make sure that we're wiping off the spigot and the place where the hose comes in before we connect everything up. And then all the supplies that we need for our black water tank just sit in here. And a little plastic bag to catch any drippings. We don't want that all over the trailer. This is a device that we've used a few times to make sure that the hose that's coming off of our black water tank goes all the way down at a nice equal level, all the way down to the spigot that goes down to the drain for the black water tank. I really didn't think I was going to need one of these things, but I am surprised at how many times I've actually had to pull this thing out and use it. It is a 20-ton bottle jack, and we found in particular, we sometimes have found that the trailer has sunk a little tiny bit, and when I go to take it off the blocks, can't get it off, so we use the jack. This is the bike cover that Libby made. And when we are not traveling and we want to leave the bikes behind, we put them on the back of the trailer. They are secured. We have a Thule rack that has a lock on the top, and then it is also locked to the hitch on the bottom. So we feel that the bikes are a little bit more secure when we're not going to be in our campground. We at least know that they're also usually out of sight, out of mind, because they're at the back of the trailer. If we do decide we want to take the bikes with us, we have a hitch on the back of the truck that we can hook the rack up to and just take the bikes with us. Otherwise, for travel days, they actually ride in the bed of the truck. For pumping up tires, I bought this little Motomaster pump. It's a 12 volt. And then realized that the plug that goes into the cigarette lighter in the truck isn't long enough to get back to the trailer. So we've come up with this little solution, which is a 12-foot extension cable. And then we have a clip that goes right onto the batteries. And so on our rig, we have 2 batteries. And we also have 3 solar panels up on top of the rig that are helping to keep those batteries charged up. And so that's been very convenient to be able to then, for the pump, the tire pump, be able to just hook it up to the batteries, which stay charged. Little extension cable, as I mentioned, and it will fit over to the other side of the rig so that we can do the tires on that side as well. And once that is hooked up, it's ready to go. Pretty simple. And it's a long story at how many times it took us to figure out this solution to be able to make this work. But I'm really glad that we found a simple solution, because I did bring a hand jack, a hand pump, and it doesn't work very well. This is Libby's handiwork, and we will talk a little bit about why our trailer is called Charlotte in the next segment. She's been very busy with her label maker, going through and making labels for just about everything. And we needed this just to make sure that we were aware of what's what. I mean, it was a new rig and didn't want to make mistakes, but she's also gone through and put little labels on a lot of my spices because we need to be able to see them. A lot of our dehydrated foods all have labels that she has made, and she's done an excellent job in just making sure that things are labeled so we know what's what. And of course, this one, main slide, we didn't know what it was. It's the living room, and the auxiliary slide, it is the kitchen. And the one thing that I really did find that was rather frustrating is that apparently in this trailer, it is impossible to have a nap without somebody coming along and labeling you, as if I really needed to be identified this way. But thank you, Elizabeth, for your wonderful work in making sure that everything is labeled so you know where it is and what it is at all times. This has been pretty handy. This is a little night light flashlight, so it just stays plugged in, and we're able to use that as a nightlight in the trailer. I'm surprised at how many times I have used this thing. This proofs my bread. It is the incubator for my yogurt, and it works as a slow cooker. And this one, I'm really surprised that we never figured this out before. I have no idea why we did not bring a wok in the past. And this is a really old wok. We have had this one for 45 years, and it fits perfectly on the camp stove. It also works inside the rig if we need it to do that. But we both love stir fries, we both love curries, and we're really surprised at how good a job this does on putting together a very, very nice dinner. Surprised we haven't used this one in the past. So that gives you an idea of some of the things that we have been working with, and some of the little hacks, not really hacks, I mean just things that we've been using that have really helped to make life a little bit easier. And it's surprising how many of these things, and I'm sure over the course of the next few months we will find a few more things that we didn't know about, or that we need to update or get better versions of. And so there's a little thing just for this episode, things that we've been using to help make life a little bit easier.
So just after we bought the trailer, picked it up, and we were on our way down back to Calgary with it, we started tossing around names for it. And we decided we wanted it to be significant. And so we were tossing around Explorers because we're traveling with it, so it's only natural that it Explorer. So we were tossing around. Champlain didn't sound good, and Fraser, no, that sounded like a TV show. Steve said that the trailer seemed to be a female. So since we didn't know any female explorers, really, started looking up things and came across Charlotte Small Thompson. She was the wife of David Thompson, who was an explorer and cartographer back in the 18th century. And so we looked it up, and Charlotte was born September 1st, 1785, which is kind of cool because our wedding anniversary is September 1st, but not in 1785, no. She was born of a Scottish father and a unnamed Cree woman. And when Charlotte was, and she was born in Ile de la Crosse, which is now in Saskatchewan. And when she was 13, she married David Thompson. She was 13, he was 29, and it was 1799. What's really interesting about it is that I think they started traveling, and their first child, Fanny, was born in Rocky Mountain House, Alberta. Charlotte and David had 13 children. And during his years of exploring and mapping North America, she and the children often went with him. Now, it wasn't like they hopped into a wagon or a car. They were going by canoe, horseback, or walking. So this small family would be out traversing. And Charlotte was very instrumental. And at that period of time, many Aboriginal women forged significant relationships with explorers and fur traders. What they brought to the table was their knowledge of language, the culture, and how to survive in the wilderness, because, there weren't any 7-Elevens on the corners. And she brought this. And so she was very instrumental in helping David research and map out North America. He turned out to be one of to have mapped a huge chunk of North America. Over the span of their marriage, she traveled over 12,000 miles with him. When he retired in 1812, she and the children, 5 of them at that point, moved to Montreal. And life wasn't easy there, but the David Thompson region site called it the Great Canadian Love Story. They were married for 57 years. 57. And when they died in 1857, he died, and then 3 months later she died. What a love story. So Charlotte is our trailer's name. And as true with Charlotte Small Thompson, she's instrumental in our travels.
I really like this Charlotte Small thing. This is good. Yeah.
I'm glad we settled on Charlotte, other than it looks really cool on the door.
Yes, it does.
But it looks like it's part of it. Thank you, Camille.
Yeah.
And it could have been Champlain, but Champlain is so long and male.
I don't remember that name ever even coming up as part of our conversation.
We went into explorers.
Oh, explorers, right.
Yeah.
We were looking at
So
explorers.
we were looking at different explorers, and we were in David Thompson country.
Literally on the David Thompson Highway.
From Rocky Mountain House.
When we realized that, wait a minute, David Thompson had a wife. And it took us a little while to...
We had to look it up.
And then it was like, oh, well, this just makes so much more sense. So that was it.
Yeah, she should be part of Canadian history.
Really should be.
Yeah, which would be part of the call to action, which we'll talk about
at another time.
Yeah.
Yep, you bet. Anyway, that's it for this one. Short episode, but thanks for joining us.